Guys, we're so sorry for keeping you waiting. Apologies. No real good excuses. None that you want to hear. Just bits and bobs to sort out as always. But we're here. We're here. And we've got a 3-0 win to talk about. It won't just be me, but myself. Sure will be joining me in a bit. Maybe some others as well. But the most important thing is that you guys get your videos in. So please send them in to WhatsApp. Send your videos to WhatsApp. Don't call. Don't send in texts. Just your videos to WhatsApp with the number that pops up on the screen. You can see it now in the bottom left. So go check that out and give us your thoughts. Let's know what you made of the players that came on, what you made of the subs, what you made of Arsenal's performance in general. Is that really just all it needed to be for Arsenal? And I'll give my thoughts here as well. Okay, in general, I thought the first half was much better than the second half, actually. I thought the first half we caused them a few problems. I think you could see that if we got the final ball right, we were in. I thought Eddie had a really good first half. I thought Vieira had an excellent first half, an excellent game overall. He was my man of the match. Xhaka, fine, gave the ball away a couple of times, but it was fine. Lokonga didn't really have a lot to do. I felt when he got the ball, I'm surprised they didn't press him more. I thought they tend to press Xhaka more, actually. Lokonga was pretty comfortable in possession for most of the game. Defence didn't really have a lot to do either. Tierney is definitely getting more comfortable with that role coming inside. But you also see where he's at his best, when he's just powering down and he stretches the pitch and he runs in beyond in that overlap. We get the first goal. What was the first goal? Oh, that Eddie finish. I was just talking about that Tierney overlap. Martinelli, I think, actually takes a little long to release it, but eventually does. I do think that is something about Martinelli's game that, with time and experience and maturity, he'll give that ball a little bit quicker. But he retains it brilliantly. He commits players. He gets out those situations brilliantly, and he ultimately puts in a very good position for Tierney, who gets the shot away and hits the post. So ultimately, who am I to criticise what Martinelli did there? Obviously got it right in the end, and Tierney hits the post. And Nketiah, he can smell where the goal's going to be, where the ball's going to land, and he just gets into that area, and it's not an easy finish. You can easily sky that, miss that, maybe want to take a touch just to be safe, but he just guides it in kind of low into the empty net, and it was a really, really lovely finish. So well done to Eddie, who I thought was showing his strength, showing his pace, was showing his movement, his work ethic. I think he's a superb presser. I said at half-time he might be as good, if not a better presser than Jesus, but then Jesus came on and was pressing superbly, so maybe a little bit of recency bias and not really taking into account the opposition there. But Nketiah, very, very good in that first half. Marquinhos, quiet for me. If I'm being really honest about that performance from Marquinhos, it was quiet. He didn't do anything wrong. It's about to be a bit harsher than I want to be, really. He didn't do anything wrong at all. But I felt it was an opportunity for him, although I thought their left back played well, but I thought it was an opportunity for him just to be busy running at players. And it's not even just running at players and taking them on. I think there were a few times the overlap was onto Tomiyasu and he didn't play it, and he got that a little bit wrong at times. So listen, he's 19. The kid's only 19. It was his home debut, his first minutes on the Emirates pitch in front of a full crowd. I've no doubt maybe he was a little nervous. It's a big occasion, and he should be super proud of the debut and the achievement. He's playing for Arsenal Football Club, something we all dream to do. But I felt his performance, I think it's because he was so good against Zurich that it just wasn't quite the same level. But it's fine. He's got bags of potential. He's very, very young, and he didn't do anything wrong. That's the important thing. So I'm sure he'll keep getting minutes in the Europa League. He'll keep developing. The confidence will come, and he'll play even better. So yeah, I'd love to know what you guys made of his performance. A few people saying he never really takes players on or whatever. I think that really comes with confidence. I mean, you've got to have confidence to run at players. At that level, everyone's athletic. Most players are quick and can defend one-on-ones quite well. So you've got to have something really special about you, and to have that, you've got to have the confidence as well. We used to see Martinelli constantly taking fullbacks on, but he does it brilliantly. Like, he's very, very good when it comes to one-on-ones, and he's got superb acceleration, as does Saka. And Marquinhos will develop that, I'm sure. Again, whether it's confidence or whether it's just him becoming a better player over time, we'll see. But yeah, what about, we talked about the second goal, lovely header from Rob Holding. Really, really good header, can I just say. It will probably go under the radar how good that goal was, because the ball comes out to Vieira. It's a lovely first touch to kind of set it into his feet. And the defender knows he's got close control because of that first touch, so he doesn't really commit too much. Then he kind of shimmies, puts it onto his left foot and whips it into a really, really lovely area for Rob Holding to attack. Brilliant cross, brilliant goal. Lovely header from Holding, well done. That's 2-0. And Arsenal are comfortable from that point. Second half comes along. I've got to say, it was incredibly flat second half. I thought the subs came on and added a little bit. I thought they added a little bit of intensity, a little bit of some rotations in the front three. They're alternating in the positions. I thought Jesus looked lively actually when he came on and was combining quite well with everyone around him. I thought he also made the right substitutions. I actually tweeted when I saw the three were getting ready to come on. I said, I hope it's Marquinhos, Martinelli and Xhaka who came off. That's exactly what he did. He wanted to test Odegaard in midfield with Vieira. That was something that we said we were told we might see, and we got to see a little bit of that today. Jesus and Nketiah in the same team. Are we going to see that one day? Well, again, we've got a feel for what Jesus can do out on the wing, and he looks brilliant there as well, albeit Bodo Glimt, you know, in all fairness, aren't the level of opposition that we're going to get in the Premier League week in, week out. But I thought they actually showed a little bit on the ball and a little bit of intensity and caused us a few problems. Probably more than Zurich did, actually. And Jesus did well, and everyone largely did very well on that front. Clemang says, Tierney man of the match. Sure, yeah, I thought he was good. I thought he did perfectly well. I've lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Yeah, Jesus puts on a plate for Vieira for that third goal, and Vieira's got a goal and assist, and he deserved it. I thought he was man of the match and very good. It was a terrific bit of skill at whatever level. It's brilliant from Jesus. That spin and then the kind of flicking it onto from one foot to the other, getting round and rolling it onto Vieira. He's put it on a plate for him. That was absolutely superb as well. And we're 3-0 up, and the game's done, and Jordan hasn't got his Forever Arsenal prediction right, so we can all enjoy that. If you guys watch the Forever Arsenal show, then you'll understand what's going on there. One thing I'll say about Bodo Glimt before we go into the clips and we get some guests on. Bodo Glimt will be a tough away game next week. I really think it will. I think he's going to have to go quite strong for that game. They played out the back and they didn't look particularly reassured doing it. And actually, I didn't feel overly troubled when they came near our goal. Let me put it this way. I'm a nervous wreck watching Arsenal games, and I was so relaxed that whole match. But they definitely showed something. I don't think this is going to be an easy tie next week. I think they're the best team in the group, and bar us, obviously. PSV, okay, won comfortably today, so we'll see how they do. I know Bodo Glimt drew at PSV. Maybe PSV are better. What am I talking about? But I think they're a very decent side. I think away from them that they'll. Yeah, well, someone's saying we'll be very difficult on artificial turf. Forget that. I just think that generally it'll be a tough game. I'm not anticipating an easy one. So, yeah, it'll be interesting how strong we go next week. Jonah says, Bodo have beaten good teams. They're not weak. No, I agree, and we touched on that in the preview. Matt Turner, what's that? Matches what Arsenal does. Get out of here. That's what KJ said. Matt Turner's distribution does not look good, does it? If we're being completely honest, it doesn't look great. But as a goalkeeper, he kind of did his job perfectly fine today. What's this? The Cosmic Moth says Turner keeps the ball out of the net. That's the primary job of a keeper. Akmal says Turner made some great saves and his throwing distribution is excellent, but he needs to improve his kicking distribution. What else? There's a few on. Patrick says Turner had a good game. Matt says big up to you, James. Can't wait for the tactical breakdown. Thank you. We will be on Liverpool. We won't be doing one on this game. We will be doing one on Monday for the Liverpool game. Good professional win to Savarine. The best part is we're out with 3 points and no injuries. As I was walking out, I was walking up and I saw Sharoy, who was obviously on the watch long. And I said, that was a pretty uninspiring game, wasn't it, Sharoy? And he said, listen, mate, job done. 3 points, no injuries, 3 goals, clean sheet. Get out happy with that. I said, you know what, fair enough. And actually, maybe I should be sitting here with a big smile on my face knowing that we played 10 games this season and our 2 worst performances were those 2 Europa League games. For me, today was not a bad performance. Today was fine, but it was nothing stellar. I thought we played better against Villa at home, we played better against Fulham at home, and we won those games 2-1. And I think largely we've played better in every game this season in the Premier League. Even that Man United performance, there was more that left me kind of feeling buoyed about the team. Tonight was about getting the job done, but we did get it done comfortably, in fairness. As I mentioned, the number is on the screen right there. Go send your videos. We're going to go through some videos now, and we're going to get the thoughts of people when we return. Let's hear what you're saying.
Good evening, AFTV. It's me, Ryan, from Southwest London. Good performance today. We weren't massively exceptional today, but I suppose we didn't really need to be. Nketiah showed why he's trying to still break into the first team. Fabio Vieira was quality tonight, man. His touches, some of his neat, intricate plays. Holding done all right with Gabriel at the back. Bodo Glimt didn't really cause us too many problems until like the second half, where they created some clear-cut chances. But other than that, we conserved them and we played out well from the back. We done what we needed to do tonight. Gabriel Jesus as well. For me, there is levels to the way how he plays compared to all of our attacking players and all of our players within this team in general. Bar Saliba, I would say, but I just love Gabriel Jesus, man. Like Alame, all of that stuff, man. Liverpool on Sunday, man. We need to kick on and we need to beat Liverpool now, man. I'm sick and tired of Liverpool and City coming over to Arsenal's ground and turning us over like it's their own turf. We move on Liverpool Sunday and yeah, let's go, man. Arsenal for life.
Hey AFTV, great match today. Good to see the squad rotation working. Now, sir, our enemy of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway, here and there, sharked up a list of lawless resolutes, holding a weak supposal of our worth, or thinking our state to be disjoint and out of frame, colleagued with this dream of his advantage, the Norwegian banners flout the sky. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, began a dismal conflict, till our Bologna's bridegrooms, lapped in proof, Nketiah, Holding, and Vieira, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against rebellious point, arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude, the victory fell on us. Come on, you Gunners.
Arsenal 3, Bodo Glimt 0. Very good performance today from the boys. I'm a bit surprised that Arteta brought on some of our good players in the 60th minute when we were 2-0 up. And it might have been a bit risky. But it is what it is. They didn't get injured, which is good. Big up everyone at AFTV. Good stress, good fun to put it on while I'm watching the game. So yeah, come on Arsenal. Big game. Monday morning for me in Australia against Liverpool. So 3 points.
AFTV, how you guys doing? Steven from Pennsylvania. Fortunately, I'm still in the office, so I don't have my man Alexander here with me. But big win by the Gunners today. I thought we had it pretty much in control. I mean, we could have stepped on the gas a little bit, but nice controlled win. So excited about Sunday. Can't wait to see what the Gunners do. And of course, I'll be remiss if I didn't wish Turkish congratulations. I bet you he got down on one knee and he was like, "How's it going, baby? How about we get married?" Big up you Gunners. Let's get Liverpool on Sunday.
I love your videos, guys. Thanks for getting them in and keep sending them in, guys. We'll be live for another 20-30 minutes or so. So you've got some time to send in your videos and let us know your thoughts. Akmal says, Tomiyasu is brilliant. Even at left back, he looks solid. Tomiyasu is an incredibly dependable player, both defensively. Let's get this a bit close to me. There we go. Can you hear me a bit better? There we go. Tomiyasu is incredibly dependable, whether it's defensively, whether it's on the ball, whether it's to cover multiple positions. I'm a huge Tomiyasu fan. And we've got Shiro in the building. Let's get him in. Fresh from his watch along and a fan cam. We've got everything we can at Shiro today. Feel free to drag it all in. There we go. Because you're definitely bored of hearing just me, and that is completely fair enough.
How can anyone ever be bored of you, man? How can anyone ever be bored of you? And that is not me being sarcastic.
How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. Listen, 3-0, no injuries, get in, get out, on to the next. Exactly what I wanted.
I quoted you saying that just before the videos came on, because you said it, and you completely gave me a new perspective, actually. Because I was coming away from it going, it is what it was. And a little bit, I guess that's what you want it to be. You kind of don't want any drama out of these. Would it have been more fun? I'm not saying I want this, but would I have more euphoria if it were 1-1 and we nicked in the 94th minute? Probably you'd be like, oh, what a game. Wow, that was tougher. We got over the line. But actually you don't want that. Maybe you want this sense of we went in, we did the job, we played absolutely fine. There was nothing to write home about. There was also nothing to worry about. Get out onto the next.
Yeah, had my fair share of euphoria on the weekend. Just gone anyway, mate.
But exactly,
if I'm being perfectly honest,
yeah,
not every
those are the
game's
ones that really matter.
Exactly, not every game is going to be like that. Look, if I had a wish list before this game, I would have said I'd like to see a lot of the fringe players get a good run out. I'd like to see them contribute to the goals. Eddie Nketiah scores, Rob Holding scores, Fabio Vieira scores, Fabio Vieira gets an assist. So that's exactly what you want from the wider squad. I'd say I want a clean sheet, because a clean sheet at home, can't put a price on it. Going into Liverpool, we get that. And I'd say I want to come out with no injuries. And I think it was a valid point that Turkish raised on the watch along. A lot of people were baffled as to why we brought the big hitters on. But a lot of the people who are at the Emirates today don't get the opportunity to go to the Emirates in Premier League games, right? So they pay their money and they come out on a weeknight. So they want to see the big guns. And the big guns came on, and you saw the class of Jesus. You saw what he did for that third goal, you know. So all around for me, today's a successful day.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. In fact, it's worth talking about those subs in a bit more detail, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, why is he making these changes? We've got Liverpool. I think there's a couple of things. I think that is a part of it, you know. You're right, maybe it attracts slightly different fans who were able to get to these games, and we know I think they're cheaper than Premier League games and stuff, so maybe it's more accessible for some, and you've got this opportunity to put on the better players and entertain them and all that. I think that could be a part of it. I think above those, although I'm not saying that's not a factor, but I think above those as well, it's a 2-0. I'm not saying the game's not done. I mean, I think we were comfortable. Yeah. But there's a little part of, let's raise this level, get the third, and just sort of, really put it to bed. And thirdly, I don't know if it's actually a great benefit to the players to only play once a week, to play at such an intensity, then don't kick a ball for 7 days, then you're back out again, then don't kick a ball for 7 days. I think there's something in saying, listen, we don't need to risk Jesus and Saka and Odegaard, but, for 70 minutes of a game, but a 20, 30-minute run out in a competitive fixture will do them good for their sharpness come Sunday.
Yeah, there's definitely a part of that in terms of keeping them warm. And sometimes we weren't in Europe last year. And when we were one game a week, you noticed a real fluctuation in performance and tempo.
That's a good point.
Week on week, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that's because we didn't have midweek games, but we do have midweek games this year, and we're not seeing that. We're at it from minute one. Whether that's psychology or whether that's because we're playing more frequently, who knows? But there's definitely a part to play.
Yeah, a little bit of debate in the comment section about Marquinhos' performance. I don't want to go on, guys. I feel like I've already maybe talked a little too much, which by talking so much about it makes it sound like I'm coming at it from a particularly negative angle.
I didn't hear what you said. What were you saying about it?
I basically said, in short, I don't think he did anything special today, whereas I think he looked quite special against Zurich. Nor do I think he did anything wrong. But my disappointment is more in the fact that for a lot of that game we were 2-0 up, and I think the opportunity was there for him to take that risk and have a go and see what he could do. But I'll add to that, 19, Emirates debut, it's a big ask, and maybe he just wanted to come through it with a 5-6. Listen, he'd love to have scored 2 goals, whatever. Maybe there's something to be said for, 5-6 out of 10 performance. I did fine. I worked really hard. I kept the ball because he didn't give away possession cheaply, and he ran back to cover really well in that first half at one point. So there are a lot of things that I did really like, but from an attacking perspective, he didn't really get me off my feet, which I kind of thought he would after the Zurich game. And I think maybe by talking about it so much, I'm making it seem like it's a massive issue, if that makes sense. And it's not really.
I think he may have benefited from staying on for the full 90, because you could see in the last 10 or 15 when Reece came on, the game was a bit more stretched. It seemed like they felt like they needed to take a few more risks. That might have been when you saw Marquinhos really shine in that final.
Yeah, maybe.
I wouldn't read too much into that performance. I think sometimes when you're trying to sort of bet a player into a team, these uneventful, under the radar performances, they're much better than absolute clangers, for someone's confidence. So as I said, I'm not going to dwell on individual performances too much, because we won 3-0. If I wanted to, I could pick holes in. I could pick holes in the fact that Eddie had a number of chances and didn't necessarily put them away. I mean, there are a number of things we could talk about, but today, for me, there's no need for it. Yep,
I completely agree. Marquinhos just doesn't want to lose the ball. He is very intelligent, but he should take risks. No problem losing the ball when you're trying, says Zappa. I echo everything in that. I agree. Very intelligent in terms of close control, keeping it, knowing when to just move it on. I just said, I basically said there were a few times as well where there was the overlap and he maybe didn't want to pass the ball, didn't want to get it wrong. Okay. But look, doesn't warrant any more discussion than that. I think for what I expected of Marquinhos as a 19-year-old signing, who I'll be honest, hadn't really heard of and didn't know whether he was going to get a loan or stay, his performance against Zurich far exceeded what I expected. And then this was a little closer to what I thought I was going to get pre-Zurich, but after Zurich, I had a slightly different expectation. So I think we all need to rein it in with these young players, and that includes Martinelli and Saka sometimes, and Saliba, where they will have an okayish patch or maybe even a bad patch, and we will forget that they're so young and that it's a massive ask for them. And Saka started the season probably not quite at his best, but look how much better he's getting with each week and reminding us of what he's capable of.
We judge them by the high standards that they've set for themselves.
Exactly.
That's the reality.
Yeah,
of it.
you're right.
That's the reality of it. And the way that Marquinhos performed in the game against Zurich, the goal was a very difficult finish that he made look very easy. Even the way that he celebrated, you saw how much it meant to him, and you thought, I think a lot of us really wanted him to do incredibly well today because he's a very likeable character. Yeah. He's young. Yeah. We saw how much that goal meant to him. We would have loved for him to get one at the Emirates. And it didn't happen for him, but it will.
Yeah. Nasser says, I take this opportunity to thank all our players and coaches for the good job done today, and I pray that our players can keep that togetherness in our next game on Sunday with Liverpool.
Is there any reason to think they won't?
No. I think talk about togetherness. I think there's something really good about Lokonga holding Tomiyasu, Tierney, Marquinhos and Nketiah getting minutes with those other players. I think it's very easy to say play the second team and then chuck on Kerjan, Nelson, Nwaneri. I don't know if he was on the bench here. All these young players. I don't think he was. You know, all these youngsters. I think there's something good about them contributing to the league when they came off from the bench against Spurs, but also those more senior players who are starting week in, week out, getting them through that last 20, 30 minutes as well and being a part of that. I think there's got to be this kind of every competition we're in it together. And I think whether it's conscious or subconsciously, say you're Lokonga and you've been brilliant and you've breezed through the Europa League and the knockouts come and Partey's starting, or then do you know what I mean? I think this sense of togetherness that they're all kind of playing a part, however big or small, is kind of important as well, maybe.
Massively important, and it kind of goes back to something we were touching upon in the watch along. There weren't that many of these fringe players that I thought had a genuine chance of starting in the Premier League, regardless of how well they performed today. If Eddie got a hat-trick tonight, it would still be Jesus on Saturday.
Yeah, with Martinelli and Saka. Yeah.
Exactly. If Vieira got a hat-trick tonight and 2 assists, it would still be Odegaard. I think even if Tomiyasu had a blinder, it would still be Ben White. Mm-hmm. If Holding had a blinder, you're still seeing Saliba in there. So they probably know that for the foreseeable future...
Holding was very good as well.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. Got a goal. I mean, he seemed quite composed.
Yeah.
But they know that they're probably not going to be playing first-team football in the Premier League. So it's super important for them to feel as though everyone's putting in the same direction.
Yeah.
And there is that unity, because the longer that happens, these guys are ambitious players, right? No matter what you say and how professional you are, no one really wants to be seen as the second fiddle, even if they're happy to play second fiddle.
Exactly.
And perception's massive.
Yeah.
And to be an elite sports person, you have to have an element of ego to even get to where you are, right?
Yeah.
So managing a dressing room, and I think that's one of the reasons why people like Pep, people like Arteta, and a number of other managers, they kind of like the smaller, more tightly knit squad, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to keep that dressing room happy.
That's
Arteta always
true.
alluded to the fact how I can't keep all of them happy because I've got a massive squad. Same as Pep, right? And they've gone down that route now where they're all pulling together, and it shows.
That's a great point. And also to build on it is Jesus and Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard and whoever, they want to play football. We're here sitting, rest. They're like, well, I want to play. Like if I could get injured Thursday and I could get injured Sunday, ultimately I just want to play. And that is one part of it. I think this idea that footballers are like Jesus, when the full-time whistle went on Sunday, or I think he came off actually. Yeah, he came off. Thought, great, see you next Sunday, guys. That's good for me. I should rest up. Get me back on the pitch. I want to score goals. I want to...
Bear in mind where he's coming from. He's coming from Manchester City, where you're in the Champions League midweek.
Yeah.
You're not rotating to play second string.
Yeah.
He's seeing now Haaland getting taken off at half-time, having had 2 in the Champions League. He's going to want to get his numbers up.
Yeah.
That only happens when you start playing midweek too, right? He's not going to want to be that guy that, he's just got the goals in the Premier League. He's going to want a certain number in all competitions. Martin Odegaard definitely would have wanted to come on because he's playing a Norwegian side. I mean, you could see he was shaking hands with all of his mates at the end of the game. He definitely wanted to put on a show there.
Yeah.
You know, so it makes complete sense.
Do you think, I alluded to this earlier before we came on, Bodo showed me enough to think this isn't going to be an easy game next week. And
So
I think
did their fans.
Yeah, and I think we need to go quite full strength.
I think we do, but do you think we will? Artificial pitch? That's one of the things where
What's the worry about an artificial pitch? Like, does it matter?
apparently the rate of injuries that you pick up whether it's muscular calf injuries or ankle injuries is a lot higher on an artificial pitch. And with tackles, it's a lot easier to have abrupt, jarring tackles where you get hurt.
Oh, God.
It's a lot more difficult to have a sliding tackle where you can slide across the deck smoothly. It's just inherently more dangerous.
Oh, God.
I mean, and the thing is,
Take the L.
if you're looking
go
at
again in the home games.
Zinchenko, you know, they're not 100% convincing when it comes to fitness.
I just think we've had 3 home games in a row, right?
Yeah.
Liverpool at home on Sunday. So Liverpool will be the 3rd home game in a row.
Yeah.
Then we go there, then we go to Leeds. And listen, I'm not discounting Leeds, good side, but we're not going to the Etihad next Sunday.
Yeah.
Go to Bodo, get the 3 points, if you can. Go full strength, get the 3 points. Or near full strength. So Vieira for Odegaard, maybe Eddie for Jesus, and otherwise the same team. Something like that, right?
So stronger than today.
Much stronger than today, I'd go. Yeah. Get the win, and then it's 9 points on the board with 2 home games left in our last 3. And then, yeah.
Yeah, look, it sounds good. It sounds good. But let's say, you know, if you're saying Odegaard in for Vieira, you know, in fact, that's not the right position to use, because if I'm being perfectly honest, it's not very often that I have felt as though we have a more than adequate number 10 to come in if there is an injury there. So I may not use that example, but let's say maybe Jesus, you know, if he picks up an injury away at Bodo Glimt, we'd all be sitting there thinking, oh, come on, did he have to play? It's a difficult one for a manager, because if Arteta doesn't rotate enough and it doesn't go our way, all the captains of hindsight will come out and say, come on, man, you know, you should have. But if he does rotate and it comes off wrong, I guess that's what he's paid for. I personally think maybe one additional first teamer when you're looking at the team today might be enough.
Yeah.
And it will probably be in that. It'll probably be in the front line, because I can't see it happening in midfield. I can't see Thomas Partey starting that game.
No, but like maybe Saliba. Like Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, Tierney.
But we didn't have too much of a worry at the back.
No.
I think we could have just used a little bit more cutting edge, a bit more sort of predatory up front.
Yeah.
Where we could have made it 3 or 4 by half time.
I agree with that. Yeah. What we got? We've got a prediction for next week. George says 2-1 to Arsenal. Graham says it's definitely a dangerous surface to play on. Asna says sliding will be tricky. Martin says, I think Arsenal at least get a draw against Liverpool, but won't rule out a win for Arsenal. I hope you're right.
How can we rule out a win for Arsenal given the form that we're currently in?
I completely agree.
Given I know a lot of people, or Liverpool fans in particular, will point at our record against them.
Yeah.
But I was saying this to Turkish on my fan cam, like, if we're not going to win now, when's it going to happen, man?
I know. We just no, not that one. AET says the artificial pitch can't be worse than our training ground. Our players get more injuries there. Wow. Fair enough. So yeah, a lot of people. Yeah, the turf is rough on the legs, says the Cosmic Moth. Okay, fair enough. I was just wondering. This Prosper. I don't like this comment. I want to read it out. Lokonga is the worst Arsenal player I've seen in years. Like when he loses the ball, he can't even mark back. I prefer Maitland-Niles than him. Listen, you did nothing wrong today. Did he do anything wrong today? Like, yes, maybe he vacates space a little bit, but did it matter? Did it hurt us? Albert Sambi Lokonga, we saw all pre-season, was playing as the left-sided 8. He was getting more up and down. He scored a great goal against Chelsea with that header, and he's clearly more of an energetic box-to-box player. Vincent Kompany himself said that he reminds him of Yaya Toure. Now, we're not seeing that, of course, but clearly there's a stylistic comparison there being made by his former manager, and by the way, a Premier League great. El Neni has suffered an injury that's ruling him out till January, and we tried to get Douglas Luiz last minute. So Arsenal clearly don't see Lokonga as the answer to that 6th position, especially when you add to all the results we had last season. We lost games with Lokonga in the 6th. But he does a more than fine job. I don't think he's great in it. I think he's absolutely fine, especially at Europa League group stage level. And I think we're judging a 21, 22-year-old, which is still young, who is coming in and out of the team, you know, in a position that we know now is in his position. Like, it's not, no one's surprised. Like, If he comes in and delivers a 6 out of 10 performance, I'm happy with that. Now, if he was playing in Xhaka's role, that left-sided 8, getting forward more, and he didn't really do a lot, then I'd be thinking, come on, this is a level you should be able to show a little bit in. But I'm not worried about him, especially when he's playing in a notoriously very difficult number 6 position that we saw Partey take a few years to master under Arteta. It is difficult.
I think we're to blame for that, because when Xhaka has to play that position, if Partey's injured, everyone says Xhaka's not quite good enough there, even though that's not his best position. And people say the same about Lokonga, but if we were adequately equipped with a Partey replacement, neither of them would have to play in that position.
I think El Nenny's quite good at it, I actually don't think El Nenny's as bad as people say.
Yeah.
I like him.
Is it not foreseeable that you might lose 2 players in a similar sort of position? I mean, if you look at us at right back, even if we lose our 2 right backs now, we've got Cedric in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if I know it's sad because Smith Rowe's injured, but if we had lost Odegaard or Vieira, we still had someone like Smith Rowe. There are certain positions where we can at least have 3 natural players in that position. That sadly isn't one of them, and people like Albert Sambi Lokonga sadly have to suffer as a result. But look, he's certainly not the worst player that I've ever seen at Arsenal, and I wouldn't even call him a bad player. I just think he's yet to hit the heights that we perhaps expected of him, given the praise that was heaped on him. But that will come with time. And again, he's a victim of the success of a number of other players of his age, because there are so many people that are setting the world alight. Just because he doesn't do it, he's immediately labelled shit. But that's not the case.
Lokonga needs to be Xhaka's backup. He's not a 6, says Nate. Lokonga needs to be developed into an 8, but he needs more intensity to his game. LMS. How are we all sitting here talking about how great Xhaka's been in this new role, in this new system? We're seeing a side to Xhaka that we've never seen before. It's incredible. And then we're seeing Lokonga out of position, very much in the way Xhaka was used, and we're not learning from it. And instead it's, well, he's not very good, is he? He's not good enough. He's doing... I don't know. The comparison's there.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Rye25 says, Tomiyasu is different gravy, James, and he's so defensively reliable, solid and versatile. James and Shroy, you worried that we don't score enough goals, though? I think it's goals last season, yeah, absolutely. This season, goals don't seem a problem for me. We scored 3, could have had 5 or 6 today, and we weren't very good, really, to the levels we've seen.
I mean, even going back to pre-season, how many did we hit against Chelsea?
4 against Chelsea, 3 against Orlando.
3 against Bournemouth, 4 against Leicester, 3 against Tottenham. I mean, Villa was 2, Fulham was 2. I mean, we've scored quite freely. I don't think we score anywhere near enough when we're talking about the chances that we create. Yeah. But I think we get enough goals to win games.
Yeah, very true. Well, we'll wrap it up in a sec, guys. Let's get your final thoughts, and then we'll talk about just a little preview on Sunday. But let's see what you guys are saying.
Hey, Arsenal Fan TV. This is JR from the sunny island of St. Lucia, even though it's a bit overcast today. Yeah, my thoughts on the game. I think we've expected so much in the last couple of games that, based on how the first half went, we pretty much thought, this is going to be a walk in the park. Seemed like, there's a little bit under pressure. I'm not really unhappy with the substitutes, because it's nice to give them a little training session during the week, get ready for the Liverpool game. And in essence, it's good to see how other players gel with our starting players, because, there may come a time in the season when we might have to mix it up through injuries and other things. So I'm happy with the subs. I think it probably would have wanted Reece to come on a little bit earlier, give him a little bit more of a run out. But, we've got to trust the manager and see, the manager knows more than us. So possibly he wasn't quite ready for too much of a stretch. But all in all, it's a good game. It's a good win. We seemed comfortable. Matt Turner made the saves that he had to save. And, 3 points, top of the table. Let's keep this run going on to the weekend.
Good afternoon, AFTV. I am here in my office in Ocherius, Jamaica, celebrating our victory and, most importantly, our first clean sheet at home for the season. I think it's something that we need to build on for the Liverpool match. I was really impressed by Fabio Vieira today. He's a different type of attacking midfielder from Odegaard. He brings something different, and I expect him to push Odegaard for that starting position in the future. I hope that we will be able to maintain our form up to the World Cup. And if we can sign a holding midfielder in January, and we are there and thereabout with City, I think we can push them for the title, we only have to play them twice. So even if we lose to them and win our other games that we are supposed to win, we'll be right there. Come on, Gunners. Let's do this.
Welcome back, guys. Going to round off the show with someone who was thrilled with that performance.
Yeah, you got the win, 3-0.
I'll be honest. We actually haven't spoken at all about the game. Okay, that was as routine as it gets for me in terms of I turned up, I watched it, I was happy we won, and
we move.
Yeah, it was. Sharoy summed it up best, and I think I need to give myself a bit of a slap around the face and just kind of wake up to the fact that you don't want anything more dramatic or exciting than that, really. Because anything more exciting means that the players are giving even more than they necessarily need to when you've got Liverpool come the weekend. It was a run out for some first-teamers and some of the rotated players, let's call it that. They got the 3 points, they scored 3 goals, they kept a clean sheet, and there were no injuries or anything to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, happy days.
Yeah.
When you rotate your squad as much as we rotated today, sometimes the performance level drops. You know, sometimes the result can be a lot closer than you'd think it is going into it, but it wasn't. It was 3-0, 2 goals in the first half. In reality, you know, it could have been, should have been more. But overall, it was about just getting the job done before Liverpool, keeping the momentum going. 3rd game in a row now, we've scored 3 goals: 3-0 Brentford, 3-1 Tottenham, 3-0 Bodo. And we move in against a team that notoriously over the last few years we haven't done well against, and they've banged in a lot of goals against us. So going into this game, it was a perfect result, and I think it might not have been the perfect performance, but I think it was an efficient performance that was necessary before one of the biggest games of our season. Regardless if it's 9 game weeks in, 30 game weeks in, playing Liverpool is a massive game. And when you see the first 7-8 games of the season and you sit on top of the table, a game against Liverpool, who over the past 5, 6, 7 years have been first or second in the league, obviously first just once, but they've been challenging for a good while. I think it's a good measuring stick of where you are. I know Liverpool are not the same Liverpool, but we're not the same Arsenal.
Sure.
So let's go and show that now. Let's go and put some of them demons behind us. You know, the more you turn it around in these types of games, the more your belief rises.
Yeah. Let's talk about, just to round it off, who is coming into these Europa League games and putting in the kind of performances that actually make you reconsider the starting 11? Because for me, there's only one.
What is that, Vieira?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vieira. Listen, Tierney, I love Tierney. I don't class him as a Europa League player, so I'm...
Okay, that's a good point.
I don't mind Tierney. I'd prefer Tierney to start in the bigger games because I think defensively...
It's a really good point. I didn't even think of him as that.
Yeah. Same way, I don't Martinelli, Xhaka, I look at them the same way. But out of the rest of them, I think Vieira for sure. Marquinhos was decent today, good. I'm intrigued to see more of Marquinhos in the Premier League, you know, giving Saka some 20-minute, 30-minute rest if we can. But in terms of standouts in the first 2 Europa League games, or in the fringe player department, Vieira for me, because he brings something completely different to Odegaard, and he also can play alongside Odegaard, and I'm glad that Arteta did that to show that he is thinking about that.
Yeah, me
if
too.
we need a goal, then potentially that's the avenue to go down. Vieira is very different to Odegaard, similar positionally, but very different on the ball. A lot more dynamic. He wants to go towards the goal a lot more, whereas Odegaard kind of, you know, he dictates tempo, he control, and he feeds the man that want to go towards goal, whereas Vieira can do that. I said in one of the fan cams, I said, you look at Vieira in the first half, he could have had a hat-trick. He had that chance in the box where he hit the crossbar, he scored a goal. He had another chance where he angled his body to go far post and he went near post, similar to the Brentford chance. And then the one where he ran into the box and Eddie kind of nearly crossed paths with him. That was all in the first half.
Yeah, do you know what? I hadn't really clocked. That's right. That was 3 separate incidents he could have scored. Add to that his goal. Add to that the brilliant ball. It's a great cross for Rob Holding. Yeah. And then when you look at his other appearances, he plays the through ball, well, not the through ball, but the kind of ball round the back to Nketiah for Marquinhos' goal against Zurich. And he scores that great goal against Brentford. So do you think he's showing a more direct attitude than Martin Odegaard?
100%. I think when it comes to Odegaard, sometimes the cry is shoot.
Yeah.
that you don't cry that with Vieira.
Good
If he
point.
sees an opportunity, he will go for it, and he's got a bit of guile to it as well. His Brentford goal, I love that because he angled like he's going far post, and he went near post and he went in off the post. He tried the same today, and that just shows he's got something about him. He's confident in his shooting. He had 3-4 shots in the game today, so he's definitely different to Martin Odegaard. And listen, I can't wait to see more of him.
I also think because I know Martinelli and Saka can run at players and be really direct, but also they're very good at kind of just looking after the ball, getting cross into the box, drawing players in, dropping the shoulder. You don't necessarily have to have blistering pace to necessarily be a winger, or maybe even a right winger in the system and the way we play it. So I do kind of wonder whether he's an option for Saka rest, or maybe Saka comes on the left, is a bit more direct on that side. Vieira does his thing on the right. I think he's going to give us options in both midfield and that front three. And I agree. His directness is kind of convincing me of that more and more every week.
Yeah, I agree. 8-10 or in off the right hand side. That's how I see Vieira, which bodes well because Arteta wants players that can rotate, that can switch positionally, and he looks ideal for this system.
Yeah, I agree. Giuseppe says Reece was impressive. He drives forward and attacks. What do you make of Reece's cameo?
100%. I mean, it was a shame he didn't come on earlier. I think maybe Saka didn't need to come on, and Reece could have came on straight from Marquinhos if Marquinhos had to come off. But I've always had a soft spot for Reece. Like in the academy, I thought he was going to be the one to burst through and you know take it by the scruff of the neck and be the next star boy. It happened to be Saka. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, of course.
Smith Rowe stepped up. I'm not complaining. Reece, somewhat a forgotten man. He's with the squad now. It looks like he's going to be here for the season. Hopefully he can add something. Hopefully, because with Emil Smith Rowe out, Martinelli's played both Europa League games.
Yeah, true.
Now I'm looking at Reece's introduction today, and I'm looking at Bodo next week and thinking, listen, I'd rather rest Martinelli for that one and put in Reece, because now we have that option.
Sure.
So with Reece, I actually hope this season he does well, because he is Arsenal through and through. I remember comments he made a couple years ago that he really wants to break through here. He doesn't want to go. He wants to break through at Arsenal because Arsenal mean everything to him.
Yeah.
And the more players like that, the better.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's a comment here. I agree with half of it. Safe says, man, Tierney's shots are very good. He must play over Zinchenko. I agree with the first bit. His striking is superb, and he's got a very good delivery. That left foot is wicked. However, I just don't think how you can deny Zinchenko his place in the team right now. He's just been so crucial to what we've been doing, controlling midfield.
Yeah, no, because when it comes defensively, I think you're a lot more secure with Kieran Tierney.
Absolutely.
But you look at the Tottenham game, and there was a lot of space in behind, and I don't put that all on Zinchenko. It comes from the way we play, you know, because we're confident in our system now and the playing style that we go in, and even against Tottenham, another big side, big six side, another side fighting for the same thing we are, which is top four, and we took the game to them. With Kieran Tierney, I feel like there's just an extra layer of security there. I'm not as worried in behind as I am with Zinchenko, and that's no fault of Zinchenko's. That's just due to the system and what he's being asked for, and because of his quality. So I think there is a debate. I think I would go with Tierney against Liverpool. I would have gone with Tierney against Tottenham, but Zinchenko's class as well. That's not me saying Tierney's better than Zinchenko. They're different. Like Vieira and Odegaard are different. I look at Tierney and Zinchenko being different. It's just a shame that we've got two quality players for one position. I say it's a shame, but it's a welcome shame, let me say, because that's what you want.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? That's what you want.
It's like a shame for them more than it is for the team. And listen, I know one thing for sure, and I know we've got this kind of bet, me and Robbie, but I really do believe if for whatever reason Xhaka couldn't play a game, it's Tierney who comes in for him and Zinchenko moves into midfield. I really think Tierney's kind of almost the next in line to one of those. Well, it's to play left back, but if Zinchenko or Xhaka or whatever, then he comes in. I don't think it'd be a case of he keeps Zinchenko in and puts Lokonga in that 8, or Smith Rowe if he were fit. I think because Tierney's playing so well, he would, and Zinchenko is as well, he'd see an ability to get 2 informed players into the side there and then.
It'd be interesting to see that as well.
James Bond says, James, if that's your comment on KT and Zinni, then you need to pay Robbie. Listen, long season. Don't worry about that. I think we said it was only Premier League games, but I'm going to have to chuck in the Europa League to give myself a chance, and I'd still be losing that. Olisa says, Zinchenko, Vieira, Odegaard are 8 before Lokonga. Yes, probably. But I do think Lokonga would be getting minutes in the 8 if it weren't for Elneny's injury. I think we'd be seeing Lokonga playing as that box-to-box. I like Lokonga. I really do. I think there's a player
You're
there.
probably right there, because why would you give Elneny a 1-year deal if Lokonga is to back up the party?
Yeah.
I think the idea was more the 8 position as well.
I also think they saw Tielemans and Douglas Luiz's contracts as running out and thinking, well, we'll keep on any year. If we can get them on a cut price deal, then great. If not, fine.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like they're signing anywhere else right now. I'm not seeing them linked to anyone, so we'll see. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Turkish Pick, thank you for joining me, guys.
No worries,
hope you enjoyed the full-time show again. Thanks for everyone who sent in their videos from tomorrow. We're all in, guys. The previews to the Liverpool games come thick and fast. We've got super fan debate. We've got everything. I've just found out that our member of production isn't here, so we're going to keep talking because we can't end the stream.
Here we are, people.
We're
Get your
banned
thoughts
from
and
ending
comments
the
in.
stream. Harvey's jumped on. I've never seen anything like it. He's no, do not try. He's saying he's going to try. Do not try. I think we could chat about other things. Let's take some comments. Thank you, says Giuseppe. Congrats, Turkish, says Akmal.
Laurie let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we can all say it now. Congrats, Turkish.
Love, my bro. Love.
Massive congrats.
But
Congrats.
I like to go under the radar. I don't want any hype. I'm good.
We all know now. You said Arteta's got your backing. Congratulations. Congratulations.
I said that on Big Six on Monday, actually.
Was that not what you were talking about?
Oh yeah, well listen, whatever. That was good acting though. That was good acting.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But on Monday I was asked by Toby, Tottenham fan, are you Arteta in or Arteta out?
Yeah.
And listen, I said I'm not in these camps. I'm behind the manager. I'm seeing good things. I'm starting to believe, if not believing. I'm behind him. How can you not be? There shouldn't be one Arsenal fan here questioning Arteta in or Arteta out, because look at where we are, look at what we're doing. And long may it continue. That is the hope. Long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you didn't see the rest of the show, then he pulled off his jumper and he had this big Arteta in t-shirt holding the Premier League trophy. It was great. I'm really happy for you, man.
You're going to have more people going back to that stream saying, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, where is this? Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. How can anyone right now, it's just cool. Like, let's see more of this. Let's
100%.
See more. I still feel he's doing it with a younger team, an inexperienced team that would have required a lot of coaching, a lot of looking after, a lot of, which is fine because they're young players. And look, part of me's like, what if he got Rafinha in the summer? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we'd see when he gets his. I know he got Jesus, and to be fair, Jesus probably is that guy. But when he's kind of got like, let me put it this way: how many world-class players do you think we've got in this team?
None.
How many close to world class? If they continue this form, I think Partey, Jesus, Saliba, I think could be.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
Or I can at least see them being talked about as world class one day if Arsenal keep up this form, whatever. But so maybe 2 or 3. But what about when it's 6 or 7, 8, and whether that's through signing players or Martinelli and Saka hitting their potential, Gabriel and Saliba getting even better, White maybe, Ramsdale developing into this brilliant. That's it. It can be whether through development or signing. But when we can talk about this team having 6, 7, 8 world class players, then we got something to be excited about.
Yeah, and you know what? Over the years, when I've criticised Arteta here and there, I've given him praise here and there, but a lot of people will, put the microscope to the negativity. I've tended to forget he is new, he is young, and he has to get his stripes in order to buy world-class players. World-class players are not going to come for any manager. So I think over the 18 months he's been getting his stripes, and I'm not saying he's achieved anything special, but what he's done is taken a team that was in a mess, in turmoil, fans disconnected with the club, and he's brought it to here where there's an argument to say so far this season we've had the best fans in the league, home and away. We're connected to the side. The fans love at least 5, 6, if not more players, and so on. So I think he's been getting his stripes, and if he gets Champions League football this season and maybe a trophy, an FA Cup or Europa League, the stripes keep on coming, and that's when world-class players might look and say, you know what, I'm in for this now. Yep. I wanted Gnabry last year so badly.
Yeah, he did.
Because he was available. It just didn't happen. He signed a new contract. But I think moving forward, if we make Champions League and Arteta continues this progress, then he'll be getting his stripes, and players will be. Not just players, world-class players will want to come.
I completely agree. Guys, it's been put in the comment section there. Do go head over to AFTV Plus app, which you can download on iOS devices, you can download it on Android devices, go to the Google Play Store or onto the Apple Store, get the AFTV Plus app. Guys, there's so much, genuinely, there's so much really cool stuff. Not only can you obviously see all the videos that we upload, but you've got things like the Team 11 predictor. You can go and vote for your man of the match, which is really cool. Then we'll be very soon launching videos doing our player ratings off your player ratings as well. So go check that all out, as much as lots of other things, from looking at the league table, schedules, everything. We've got you covered there, news articles, everything. So go check that out. All right, guys, we are going to round off the stream now. Big thanks for joining us. We've really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's Liverpool and it all starts tomorrow. Check it all out on AFTV.